What's up, everybody? What's up, guys? Welcome to Talking Cardboard Live. I'm John, that's Joe, and we're 100% obsessed with the hobby. No industry glaze, just real talk about ripping packs, chasing grails, trading at shows, and geeking out over our favorite cardboard. Vintage, modern, Hall of Fame prospects, whatever your PC is, we're here for it all, and that kid in a candy store kind of feeling. Y'all ready? Let's rip into it. This is Talking Cardboard Live, episode number 8. Joe. Woo. Yeah, 8. How you doing, Joe?
Doing good, man. How are you?
I'm good. What is there to talk about this week? I mean, we got like no PSA May coming up.
Woo! If you're interested.
I don't know. You were telling me a little bit about it. Let's go into a little bit of this PSA effery, because there's just been a lot of it that's been going on these last like 6 months. It feels like, especially we've got all these scams that are going on where people are like reporting that they send a card in and they're getting the card back and it's not the same card that they sent in. And oh wow, there's another card that looks like my card and it got a 10 and I got an 8. You know, and then you got all this other stuff that's going on. You know, so we're not even talking about like them buying out everybody, all the competition, and then taking all their graders and reallocating them to PSA, and then everybody's wait times with those other services are gone down the toilet. So where do we start?
I just like to start on the effery that's going on with them. They have, in the last couple months, they've bought back and regraded and posted for sale 9 Pokemon cards that they upgraded from 9s to 10s upon receiving them back. They have lost a in-person submission of cards by somebody, I believe, in Santa Ana, California, that was valued somewhere around $25,000, 100 and something card submission that was checked in. There were notes stating that the order was checked in, and then like 3 months later, the guy gets notification that the box that he submitted his cards in was empty. This is meanwhile after they've already said they've checked the cards in, they've accepted the cards, they've put them into the cycle, whatever, this kind of stuff, and then offered no recompense for the gentleman for these cards. There's another instance now where there is a submission through FedEx valued at somewhere around $15,000 that was sent to them. That was from, where's that from? Chandler, Arizona, I believe. Chandler, Arizona Police Department started investigating it when PSA said they never got them, even though they were blaming FedEx. FedEx has video custody of that box from the time that it checked into the store until it left their facility. It was checked in at the PSA facility, I guess, but you know, all of a sudden there's no cards. They just disappeared. I have cards disappeared sometimes on my desk, but they reappear like 10 minutes later when I find them underneath something.
I do think that the thing that's interesting with that is like, how do you have cards go missing that you physically check in, and then, oh no, the cards are missing, but there's no way to get any recourse because you don't have insurance. You can't pay for insurance for physically checking in at the center, right? You can't, there's no insurance of their employees stealing the cards from you. So maybe PSA will start offering that, where it's like, oh, if you want to guard yourself against PSA employees stealing your cards, then pay an extra $50 per card, and we'll make sure to pay you back if they go missing. You know?
John, you just put that out in the universe. Thank you for that, because when that upcharge comes next month, I'm going to blame you.
Yeah, well, PSA, hey, listen to me. I'm the ideas guy, PSA. You need to hire me.
Stop it, John.
You're gonna hire me. Hire me. Like I'll get everything figured out. We'll figure out how to make sure everybody gets treated just right, you know, make sure everybody gets covered, gets their cards covered. You know, we got to make sure everybody's cards are safe and that everybody gets paid when things go wrong, because we don't want anything to go wrong now, do we? Also, they should also enact some type of an insurance for if your card gets swapped out with another card.
Yeah.
Or they buy your PSA 9 and turn it into a 10. Like you
should have to pay you the upcharge.
Yeah. They should.
You have to pay them at that point.
Yeah, they should have to pay you a little bit for like if they end up like regrading it. Oh, whoa, this 9's all of a sudden a 10. Yeah, so we've had enough of this. Obviously, the industry is really at a point where it's fed up with PSA and the various shenanigans that have been happening over. I mean, it's been happening for a long time, but I think that now more than ever, there's a big focus and a spotlight on these various problems that are happening, and the problems seem to be getting worse as PSA as a company keeps getting more and more powerful. So it's like that one of the main problems is like, who's there to stop them? Really, nobody's there to stop them. So, there's some people that are like, hey, let's, you were telling me the band together, hey, in May, we're not going to submit anything to PSA.
Yeah.
Let's make a statement.
I don't know if Boston Card Hunter was the guy that really initiated that or started that groundswell, or who exactly started that groundswell. But I saw it at the end of last week, and I thought about it for a little bit, and I committed to do it. I'm not going to submit to PSA in May. I don't foresee any major personal benefit coming from it, other than the fact that I'll be satisfied that I just won't submit cards to that company for 31 days. I'm still going to submit it back in an SGC, which are still ultimately Collectors Inc. companies. I'm just not going to submit to PSA itself. I think honestly, it may work against us in the fact that it gives PSA an opportunity to try to catch up a little bit when they have a slight dip in submissions. But at the same time, I don't think there's going to be some major dip in submissions there either.
Now, I do have to say, with all this stuff, it's allegedly, all this stuff that's happening. I don't have personal knowledge of these things being facts of any sort. So, obviously there's going to be a legal process that plays out with all of this. That's going to be interesting to watch as well, because there's obviously some major dollars involved with this. And anytime people are getting screwed over to those dollar amounts, it's not going to take too long for that to draw attention, class actions, those kinds of things. And you would think that with some of this stuff that there's probably some antitrust and class action lawsuits that are kind of in the process of being assembled, or, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't really know how this all works, but you would think that there's going to be, until the sad thing about it is, until people stop putting a premium on PSA products, it's going to continue. So until we get to a place where somebody looks at, a different grading company that has a faster turnaround and isn't as expensive and puts it as an equal in terms of the value of the card, then we're going to probably still face the same issues.
Yep. And ultimately at the end of the day, it's still, you're in the music industry. You've been in the music industry for decades, John. The Ticketmaster Live Nation antitrust lawsuit 20 years ago. They slapped Ticketmaster like $100,000 fine and make them change some numbers. Nothing happened. Nothing changed. It's all money. It's all big corporate money. And as long as big corporate money can pay for legal lobbies and that kind of stuff, the market is always going to favor them, not us.
Yeah. I mean, nothing's probably going to happen, but we can hope.
It'd be nice. It'd be nice to see some sort of end total effect.
We'll see what happens here, but in the meantime, it's definitely a story worth watching and something worth talking about. So I'm glad we talked about it.
I'm going to test the waters with tag and degree grading, I think.
Isn't tag the one? I think tag's the one where they're talking about making vending machines, right? Where you put the card in and then it grades it right on the spot.
Yeah. It's 100% AI.
Yeah. I think that's interesting. I would try that. Like, honestly, if they had that at a card show, that'd be pretty dope.
Oh my God.
I think it'd be pretty cool. You could find something that looks really good in a $1 box and throw it in there. And then 20 minutes later, you can take it over to another table and sell it for 5 times as much or something, These kinds of things could happen. And that's kind of interesting to think about.
Still on PSA, I want to say hey to John, first of all, our first subscriber through the Patreon. So, hey, John, appreciate you joining, man. Good talking to you earlier today too.
Absolutely.
But the PSA thing, what's up, Keith? The other thing about that is that with the PSA doing what they're doing, it's really, they could screw themselves, I guess, in the long term, but because of the perception of value, which we're going to talk about a little bit later, that, like you said, that paradigm has to shift before anything really happens. But one of the things that I did see that I've seen at the last 2 shows that I've set up at is people will walk up and they'll ask to look at a whole bunch of your PSA cards in your showcase, and they scan each one. And I asked the second guy that walked up a couple of weeks ago what he was doing. He said, every card he sees, he said he walks up and he pulls a PSA card and he scans it through the PSA app. And then if it immediately generates an offer for more money than the vendor is asking, he buys the card and immediately sells it to PSA.
Ha! That's actually
on the spot, dude. He
pretty damn smart.
He had 2 rows in his Zion case, his cards and PSA cards, and he had like 17 cards that he had already just scanned, bought, and sold within like 5-minute period. It was wild.
I might have to try that. That sounds interesting. That's actually a pretty. I wouldn't be surprised if there's people here in the Nashville area that are doing that.
Oh, I would think so.
That's actually pretty smart. Honestly, that's a smart hustle. I guess you just got to have the capital, right? You got to have the capital, because like some of these cars, you're probably not going to be making like 30 or 40% on these. You're probably going to be making like, 30 or 40 bucks times like, 20 or 30, but you got to have like the $200 to spend on each card or something like that,
Yeah, because you're not getting an immediate return. You're not getting that return to you in spendable cash. You're getting that return to an account that you don't have to cash out and that kind of thing. So you've got a delay in your return on that.
Yeah, for sure. What's up? What's up? Hey, we are some cardboard loving freaks. I do want to say thank you to everybody who's supporting us as we're starting to build this channel up. We're still trying to find our voice with this thing. We're figuring it out. We're having a good time doing it. I do want to say the one thing that you could do if you're enjoying what we're doing so far to help support us and help to make this podcast something that has legs and can last a long time is become a member of our Patreon, which we're going to unroll some exciting perks for our members as soon as we hit a certain threshold. We want to do some things. We want to do some like giveaway shows on Whatnot. We think that'll be really fun. Do like a monthly giveaway show on Whatnot for our members, where we just want to give you free cards.
It'll be a private show.
Be a private show. You don't have to like, you'll be competing with other members in the group, but it's just all free cards. So, and just a chance to hang out with us in another format that we're both pretty comfortable with. But anyways, that's just one of the things that we're hoping to get rolling here pretty soon. But if you can support us via our Patreon's Talking Cardboard Live, as is most of our social media, I think on TikTok and Instagram, it's all Talking Cardboard Live is our handle. So if you want to look us up on Patreon, we have a little level that you can jump in on. We'd really appreciate the support. So that's our little plug for the day. Might shoot that one more time before the show ends, but I think this is a really good segment. It's a really good opportunity because you did say you were talking about like the perception of value of PSA slabs. There's something that we were talking about last time where we're like, it'd be really interesting to do a segment and just talk about perception of value, because I think that's one thing that is it's one of the most important things in the card business. I think is if you don't understand the perception of value, I think that's where a lot of people, for example, sure there's a lot of different examples of this, but in the Whatnot space, like if you don't, as a seller, understand what types of cards people perceive as valuable, you're not going to know what types of cards to buy. And because I think that your sales, a lot of times there'll be a lot of things that could play into it. We can go into the psychology of why people pay for certain types of cards. They just want to win the bid and all that stuff. That stuff plays into it sometimes too, but we're not really going to be talking about the psychological aspects of the live auctions, more like what is it that causes somebody to say that's something that's valuable to me and something that I want to buy. So you really, I think as a seller, but I think we all as like collectors think this too. We all assign value to different things. And we all, like for me, it just so happens I sell a lot of stuff that's shiny, numbered, weird. I like stuff that's like kind of like you don't see it every day. It's kind of unique. I'm always kind of looking for kind of oddball things to throw into my shows just because I personally like to collect those types of things. And I think it's part of the signature of my shows on Whatnot that people can tend to find those things. Also, really good condition. I'm a real stickler for condition. Some people not so much. Some people don't care about that. It's like, to me, Like if I'm selling something on my show, I want people to feel like that's one of the brands that I want to have. So it's like to me, those are things that I find like are easy to sell. If you have cards that, but that's like just one way that there's a perception of value, you know? But that's like the conversation I want to have here, Joe. And I'd love to hear your perspectives on this as a whatnot seller. I know you sell also at card shows and other ways in person and all that stuff. What are some of the things that you think when you're thinking about the subject of perception of value, how it affects you as a seller and as a collector?
Like you said, you need to dial in on what it is that step number one is know your room. As a seller, understand who you're selling to, understand who you're talking to. You know, a lot of the people in my shows aren't in your shows. Like, I mean, whatever. They're different constructs to the shows a lot of the time. You know, and so I feel like the perception of value is really based upon the beholder, the person that is in the room. And it perception of value comes down to what an individual feels is important for them. Right. So, you know, it goes back a lot to what we've talked about on previous episodes. And one of the things we wanted to really drill in on in doing this podcast is the joy of collecting what you like. Yeah. I'm a Yankees fan. I collect Yankees. Alan, I know, is a Yankees fan, collects Alan. John collects Raiders and loves Raiders football. And, you know, Keith collects Auburn players and you know, so, you know, everybody's looking for different things. Now, obviously, I'm a red-blooded American male. Something shiny catches my eye. It's like, oh, squirrel, shiny object. It'll distract me. Captain ADHD over here. Oh, look at that. It's shiny. So, yeah, shiny autographs and this kind of stuff of players that are popular or you know, players that I like to watch. You know, I'm a big Aaron Judge fan. You and I were talking before the show started that, you know, Aaron Judge cards they're difficult to move at this point, which is kind of wild. He's up to 12 home runs this year. And meanwhile, I ran a Judge today for $2 and it didn't sell. Yeah. So, you know, it's like, I feel that those cards have value. I feel that there shouldn't be a single, what's up, Mike? I feel like there should be I don't feel like there should be a single Michael Jordan card or Kobe Bryant card that sells for less than $10. Personally, that's because those are GOAT level players to me that, you know, but that's my perception of value. Again, some people perceive value as they're going to stick these cards in a box and sit on them for 2 years, these prospect cards and that kind of stuff. And when somebody gets called up, they can go ahead and hurry up and sell it within that first week or whatever and make some money on it. I don't tend to do that a whole lot because then I'm sitting on rows and rows and row boxes of cards. I know, John, anything LA, I gotcha. Well, now Las Vegas, because Las Vegas didn't stole your Raiders. I know John likes Kobe and stuff too, but you know, it's not just, my perception of value is not just based upon the numerical or monetary value of the card, unless it's in the business space. Then that has to be my primary driver for acquisitions in particular, because, you know, sourcing is one of our biggest, you know, and just constant concerns, because if the well dries up, so does the stream. Yep.
Yeah, you definitely have to have enough inventory, and I think that's the challenge. Is like, how do you? Well, we'll do a whole stream in the future about like sourcing and all that stuff, because I think that's another interesting topic. Every time we do one of these, we come up with like, oh, we got to talk about that in a later episode.
Small ideas.
I think that's a good future topic episode, because I think that's one thing that people, especially people who would like to get into selling online or selling card shows, like, how do I get the cards to sell and actually be able to make some money on it? It's not easy to do sometimes. But I think that, you know, I feel that you're right. You know, I feel in terms of the perception of value, it's going to be unique to every single person. And that uniqueness is moment to moment sometimes too. It's just like, ooh, I like how, because I'll pop on a stream sometimes and just like the way a card, it looks valuable to me. Like, I don't really know. I might be the last person to swipe on it. It's a sudden death auction. And I'm like, oh man, that looks like a valuable card. I want to buy that, you know? And so you'll do the quick swipe and you're like, what did I even buy? It's like, and why did I do it? And it's like, well, you know, who knows? But I think in that moment, the perception of value to me was like, oh, it just looks like something I haven't seen before.
Yep.
And a lot of times for somebody like me, and I can't say I'm like the biggest expert on knowing every set, man. I every time I dig through boxes on the weekends, I find stuff I still haven't seen. You know, I think it's amazing to me it's crazy to me how many different sets there were in the 90s and 2000s. It's like, I think I'll never see every insert that was created during that time period. But it's fun. It's one of the things I love most about the hobby is you're always finding stuff that you're like, oh, that's interesting. And I really do. For a while, I hated it. The Topps has like all these different variations and short prints and like, you know, image variations and things like that. But the cool that it makes the hobby more interesting, I think, because then you're like that little thing inside of you that you're like, oh, that looks different. That looks valuable. So for me, it's like, that's another way that like your instinct can kind of make things valuable or whatever the context of it can be. So there's an interesting there too. I think also value as it pertains to like, and you touched on this, like individual players and individual teams. Obviously I know people that highly value the Braves or like the Mariners or the Bears or different teams, you know, and I know a couple guys who are diehard Lions fans and will pay top dollar for like super cool Lions stuff. And so, you know, depending on what your favorite team is, you're going to have, man, it's so hard for me sometimes. I really have to fight myself a lot of times if I see cool Bears stuff, because I'm like, man, I know I'm going to overpay for this. I want to buy every single cool Caleb Williams card I ever see, you know? And it's like, I can't afford it, fortunately.
Well, if you buy them and then you resell them, you sold a bunch of Caleb Williams cards here a couple of weeks ago. So that was, you know, that
I have, man, I thought about it. I got like some really nice PSA 10s that I got back, and I thought of actually taking them to a show the other day because I know another guy who's like, he's got a pretty good wallet, and I know he would have bought a couple of them, but I'm like, man, you don't come across a number to 10 gold Colston Loveland every day, PSA 10. Yeah. You just don't. They're hard to find, and I'll never be able to get that back. Even though it's like see, that's a real test for like the perception of value. Like that card, even though I know tight ends tend to get injured, I know that second year players tend to take a dive. They tend to not sustain like the hype. Yet with that player, I'm just like, I can't do it, and you know, because what if or whatever, you know. Yeah. What if or whatever, I think are the other things that go with what if and whatever. I think that's like those two things factor into a lot of the decisions that get made. You know, what if this player takes off, or what if, and then whatever. I'll buy it and think about it later, or you know, whatever. I paid too much for this card. Whatever. It's just it's not the end of the world.
The perception of value shifts depending on what kind of a collector you are too, because you know. One of the things that I've really noticed a pretty hard line between are singles collectors, slabs collectors, and set collectors. There are real market differences between those three subsets of collectors, and they do not they do not look for the same things at shows, on streams.
I hate to interrupt you, but I have this quick little thing there. When I first started going to shows to source your cards, and it's like at some point you can't help but just get a little bit territorial sometimes because you're like, you know, early bird gets the worm. You find the cool stuff in the box, or you get to it first. You're gonna potentially find some really good stuff. Find like a little vein of like super good stuff, and you're like, your worry is that somebody else is gonna get to it first sometimes. And I think I was a little more hyper vigilant about that at first, and a little. You know, trying to box people out a little bit. If I get to a good box, you know, there's people that like, you know, they're just looking. It's like I always, you know, like to try to make sure that like people know I'm looking in this box, you know, when I'm looking through it. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If somebody wants to butt in and start looking, I don't care. Like I do it all the time. Like somebody's sitting in front of a box, I'll just go up and start grabbing stuff out of the box. And if they care, like I've had maybe one person say like kind of give me like a comment or something like that. It's just like that's the etiquette of shows. You just have to be aggressive and you don't really, it's just everybody's in everybody's personal space, so it's not a big deal. But the thing I was going to say is like I came to learn that some of the guys that would get there early with me, they get out these like notepads and they'd have all these like numbers on them and shit. And then you just realize that they're not looking for any of the same stuff you're looking for.
They're set collectors.
They're just looking for like the numbers in the sets that you don't have, that they don't have, and they're trying to complete the set. And you're like, oh, what's your name? I'm John. You know, it's like, it totally changes the whole dynamic. Also, I've gotten to a point too, where it's like, there's more than enough for everybody. I will say that like I've matured. Everybody, you end up meeting and getting to know everybody in your local scene. So like, I don't have any like enemies really. There's a couple people that are kind of, you know, it's like, oh, I know not to visit a table after that guy hits it, 'cause he's going to take all the stuff that I want, you know? So it's like, but you gotta, in those cases, you try to figure out, oh, what's the next table he's trying to get to? I got to get to it before he gets to it. You know, some of those games can play into it sometimes, but anyways.
That's the way it shows. I mean, when I go to shows and I set up in front of a box, if I know it's a nice box, you know, there's ways to plant your flag, so to speak. And you just, you know, you just sort of expand your physical space out just a little bit wider.
Exactly, man.
Right. And you just make yourself a little bit more difficult to get around. So some people will push a little bit into your personal space, but they're really kind of reticent to really, you know, lean in and do that.
A lot of people are pretty timid when it comes to that stuff. And you know, I don't really care. So it's like, it doesn't bother me one way or the other. If you want to look in cards that I'm looking in, it's fine. Like, I will be a little put off if you start, like, if you're rude about it and you're reaching over me while you're doing it constantly, but I usually won't even say anything there. I'm just like, some people, they're just super aggressive, and it's fine. I'm the same way. And I wanted to say there was a question. I love that question you popped up there. In regards to sourcing, you know, we'll do a whole week on sourcing, because I think this is sourcing is a really important topic, especially for anybody who sells. But taking a week off from streaming, man, I run streams like every week, so I can't really take a week off. I'm always sourcing. I think that's the thing that I would say to anybody who wants to sell, is always be sourcing. I think that's like the ABS, you know, always be sourcing is the thing. You can't take a week off, or either that, or, I mean, I know some people who don't stream every week, or they have one stream a week, and then they got the whole rest of the week to source. So, but for me, it's like, I'm kind of sourcing all the time, and I'm heavily sourcing on the weekends when I'm not running streams. But I'm also like looking at collections, buying lots from people. While I'm packing my orders, I might be like hopping on a whatnot stream. I don't really do that quite so much anymore, but yeah, eyes always open, I think is one way to approach it.
Yeah, and Mike knows. Mike's been M. Pettis has been at shows with me before, at tables and that, and you know, people walk up all the time. Are you buying?
Oh yeah.
My response is 100% the same every time. Well, I'm always looking. Yeah. No. I'm not always buying, but I'm always looking, because if you pop in front of me with, I don't want to say no, I'm not, and all of a sudden the best deal in the world just walked away from me, I'm always going to look.
You always got to look at stuff, because you never know. You never know what somebody has and what they want for it. You know, I think that's really what it all comes down to. Yeah, you gotta, you know, that's the real answer, is you gotta be open to, I think your inflow, obviously you gotta have outflow, because you're not gonna have cash that way. You gotta have, I think, but that's all like part of running a successful business. And I think maybe that's another topic for another week too, is just how do you run a business in the card industry?
Managing cash flow.
Yeah, running.
Managing cash flow is an important, I mean, it's an important consideration.
Because if you don't have cash flow, you're not going to be able to take advantage of a lot of opportunities that come your way. Because opportunities are always out there. They're always available. But if you don't have the capital to take advantage of them, then you're not going to be able to pull the trigger sometimes.
When my dad did his MBA program, he came back and he shared this with me years ago. He shared it with me again not too long ago when I was starting this business. He said, you know, most small businesses fail because they're undercapitalized. No, that's like the number one reason in this country why small businesses fail is undercapitalization. So if you don't have the capacity to maintain what you're doing, obviously the well runs dry, and you
got to spend it. Here's another thing too. I mean, I think, you know, maybe we'll close the segment up here pretty soon. But one other thing I wanted to talk about was, like, you got to be willing to spend money to make money. I think that's a thing that can be kind of an intimidating thing for people when they're first starting to sell, because they might have like $500 worth of cards or something like that. You know, maybe they don't have very many cards. And because the small amount of people that you present your cards to when you're first starting out, maybe you only have like 4 or 5 people in your stream. Do the people that are in your stream actually want the cards you have? And if you have a very limited inventory, those two things might not intersect at all. It might take you a long time to kind of get that going, you know, versus now, like I've got like several boxes of like $10 and up cards that are just kind of sitting by any of my shows. People throw out a team name, they want something nicer. I'm like, oh, I got you, you know? So, but like people, when they're first starting out, it took me a while to amass those cards, you know, it takes, and I have to constantly be refreshing those cards. Otherwise, when people ask for a team or they ask for a player, I don't have it. And then they're not a customer, you know? So it's interesting, but it's like, I think there's a lot to uncover in these related topics to the perception of value. But I think, you know, maybe we could say a couple things like in recapping and just putting a pin in this conversation on perception of value. I think it really depends on, it's an individual assessment. Perception of value is an individual assessment. It is not necessarily a indicator of like what not everybody agrees what a card is worth.
It doesn't move the financial needle necessarily.
Because not necessarily. Just because somebody tells you a card is worth a certain amount doesn't mean they're going to be willing to pay it, you know? And so, yes, there's going to be some individual things that go into it, not only from the buying perspective, but also the selling perspective. And I think that helps to, if you look at it from that way, you can kind of see why people are off so much on like where they value things sometimes. You know, so I think it's an interesting topic, and that's why people get, especially if they don't perceive the value to be super high, they'll get really, what's the word for it? They'll get really, what's that app that everybody uses to card laddery? They'll get really laddery about it. You know, they'll be like, oh, well, you know, this card 3 years ago sold for $3. You know, you want $25 for it? Well, there's a sale from like 3 years ago.
Give me the last sale was 2023 or something. You're like, get out of here, dude. Seriously, come on. But exactly, again, it's just, you know, and Keith, you're right. Spend it the right way. Don't just buy cards randomly to float cost the buyer, because quite frankly, I mean, John knows if you're selling stuff that you don't like, you're not going to sell that stuff.
Oh yeah. It's going to be obvious. If you don't like the stuff that you buy, then you're not going to be a good salesperson of it, you know? And also I agree with that. You have to source at the right price, or else you're going to be trying to screw over the customer. Actually, one thing that I hate, I'll tell you one thing that I personally hate sourcing is home field advantage. I hate sourcing them because I can't ever get them anywhere close to below comps. So if that's the case, like I'm always losing money when I sell them on whatnot. And it sucks, but I actually have to like increase the price by like 10 or $15 a piece. Occasionally somebody will pay it, but most of the time I use that as a leverage negotiating point to at least break even on the card if I can. And then a lot of times I'll just like take a little loss on those just because it's cool to have them in my shows. And I know people want them, you know? So like I'll
keep some momentum going.
Exactly. So I'll buy, there's going to be some rare cases where like it makes sense from a marketing perspective, or just like a, you know, you want to buy the stuff that people like. And if they like, obviously people love home field advantages, but it's like, man, it's tough. Also the home field advantages have a really crazy way of sneaking little damage on them too. When you buy them. Man, I bought a couple of them where I'm like, man, if I'd have taken a closer look at that, I've actually learned the hard way on that. If I'd have taken a little closer look on this one, I would have never bought it. But you know, some people are a little less honest, and we'll have a topic on honesty too. I think that's another one that's going to be an interesting one for us to talk about. Just the honesty in the hobby, and how, you know, it's good for you to have it. You should have it, both as a buyer and a seller. It really benefits you, but it also, being open and on the lookout for dishonesty, I think is a really important thing too. And learning how to hone that kind of, you know, you'll develop kind of a radar for dishonesty. I think maybe it's like a sixth sense for, is this an honest transaction, or is there some level of BS going on here?
Yeah, and I think that was going to be our topic for next week or the following week. But John and I were talking about that earlier today. The stained glass baseball cards. That's what we were talking about earlier this morning.
Oh yeah.
We talked about that briefly before the show. It's just we'll lean into that more on that show. But you do develop a temperature needle or a thermometer for the degree of BS in any one person's, stream coming out.
He does. He needs like the helmet though. Where's the helmet? I'm assuming you're talking about Joe. He needs the helmet though.
Viking, that's awesome. I try. Skull. No, okay. Actually, it's funny. Bears fans.
No, it's funny. It's like I actually hate the Vikings the least out of all the NFC North rivals. For some reason, I also had a lot of friends in Los Angeles who were Vikings fans, and they were pretty cool. So I think that maybe contributes to it. But also, the Bears just don't really hate the Vikings. Like we hate the Lions and we hate the Packers.
The Packers.
But we hate the Lions too. But don't get me wrong, the Bears hate the Lions as well, especially lately. But
the Vikings really only hate the Packers because the Lions and the Bears, whatever. The Packers, no, Mike, stop it.
I think the Packers are, the Packers are. It's the best rivalry in professional sports, but fortunately for the first time in many years, the Bears got the best of it. This last year, we'll see if it keeps up. But
thank heavens.
Yeah. I need a little humbling. The Bears owned the Packers for the longest freaking time. There, they had like the basically like the winning. Like it's still kind of even in terms of like the overall wins and losses. But I think that the Packers are up probably like 20 or 30 wins at this point. It's like it's got to kind of balance out.
I mean, the Aaron Rodgers years, they won a lot of those games.
Oh, Favre too. Like during the Favre years, Favre, Rodgers, the Bears just got crushed. And also that in combination with us having like historically bad luck with coaching, and we've never had a good quarterback. Like, I mean, I didn't think Cutler was the problem, but like, but we now have a quarterback and we now have a head coach, and so hopefully things will change a little bit. Fingernail Boy, hey, how'd Fingernail Boy do in the playoffs there and the end of the regular season? That's all I gotta say. I think he looks super composed, man. He looks. I watched his press conference. He looks like he's lasered in. He's worked on his accuracy all off season. And that's like the one thing that he was really struggling with a little bit, but that's always such a misleading stat. Anyways, we're not intending to make this into a NFL analysis podcast, although I would be totally down to start a Bears podcast with somebody.
Oh God.
Yeah. So just gonna throw that out there. Anyway, sells cards fast. That's funny. That's funny, man. He's the only quarterback the Bears have had in the last, I've been a Bears fan since the Super Bowl shuffle, but he's probably the only Bears quarterback that I'm like, man, I don't think I can sell his cards at this point. I think he's actually got a chance to be special. So we'll see.
Yeah. Man. And John's a huge USC guy, so he loves Caleb as well, even though he's a Raiders fan. He's still
Caleb, he was good with USC for sure, man. The Bears just picked up I guess his USC teammate John Moss. I think he was a quarterback for USC during Caleb Williams' years. They just drafted it. He was like a undrafted free agent pickup for the Bears. I think he's going to be in the Bears camp this season, so that'll be kind of fun. All right, guys. Well, we're going to close up the show with our usual little show and tell, which is our little segment we like to call. I don't know what to call this segment.
Show and tell.
Show our favorite cards. I don't know. Three cool cards. I don't know. We'll figure out some name for it. But we're going to share. We're each going to share a card. Doesn't have to be a valuable card. Just a card that we like and why we like it. Because really, the show is about complaining. This show is about analysis. But at the end of the day, we all love the hobby. We all love cards, and that's why we're mainly here, is to enjoy the hobby. So I'll kick us off by saying I do, even though they're super freaking cheesy, I do like these My First Bowmans, and I just like them. I don't know, and people in general just really like them. But I'm not saying that I'm a bandwagon fan of all cards, but I am with this particular set. I'm kind of a bandwagon fan.
I really like those, and I like the ones where they're the card set. The same as Bowman also, but they're the card shop, like Judge's Card Shop or whatever, and they've got the stuff in the back. I like those.
Those ones are cheesy. I don't like those. Really? I think those. I think they would have been better if they actually looked like they were working in a card shop. There's literally one of them where it's like they're at like the plate or something, like in the card shop. And I'm like, it doesn't look like they're actually like in a card shop. Also, the only thing you see is Topps products in the back.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's just kind of cheesy. I'm like, man, if they had made it like kind of a little less AI looking and a little more like you know what they should have done? They should have gone to an actual card shop.
Dude.
And they should have partnered with actual card shops and had the players go in and stand behind the counter. And even if they renamed the card shop Skeens is whatever, they just rename like an actual card shop and support like a local card shop. I think that would have been better.
And they could have done that because Trout has his own local card shop. Bobby Witt collects cards, has his own. I mean, those guys could highlight that stuff, and that would have been really cool, actually. Yeah, and the background would have been different for each one.
Hey, Tops, you can hire me. You can hire me anytime. I'm available for consults.
Big idea guy over here.
I'm available. I'm a free agent. Look what I found segment. I like that. That's not bad. Look what I found, guys. Hey, what'd you find, Joe?
Lords of the Diamond, Greg Maddox die cut foil. It's not a refractor because it's not chrome. It's paper from 1998. But I love those cards, dude. The Griffey, I absolutely love those with the saw teeth along the top, the die cut, and that is a beautiful card to me.
Now, is that the chrome or is
no?
That's
just the paper foil.
Yeah. Because
look at the shimmer on that just for a pit. That's for
they look great. Chrome. I just didn't know if they made the chromes on those or not. Did they make? Oh yeah, because that's the thing. I find one of those in a box and I'm like, oh man, that's so sick. And then you look it up and you're like, the paper ones are worth like 10, like 3 times less than the chrome ones for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
But it makes sense. But I love those. Those are shiny. They're cool. They're die cut. Yep. They have kind of like that picket fence kind of thing with it. It's pretty neat.
Greg Maddox, man. I mean, nobody paints corners like Greg. No. I mean, hey, so quick joke for you. Why couldn't Greg Maddox be a professional painter and had to go into baseball?
Why?
He only painted the corners.
No refunds, guys. No refunds. Where's the button? Shoot, I gotta find the button.
Oh wait, where's the boo?
Yeah, where's the button? Shoot. Where is it?
There it is.
I gotta be a little faster with the buttons. But I had the chat open. But anyways, yeah, no, that's funny, man. Yeah, all right, well, I guess I'll go next. This is just a shout out. Not this particular card. I do like these are like little Cracker Jack cards. Mm-hmm. The Cracker Jack cards. I just like a little shout out for like anytime you find a pinstripe,
Oh, hell yes.
That's all I wanted to say is like I'm like when I go through like a box of like patches, my favorite thing is finding like something that's a little different, whether it's a patch or whether it's a pinstripe or a little dirt on it or like a little touch of like the logo or whatever it is. It's like I'm always kind of looking at, for me that's part of what makes it like not a freaking napkin. I mean, we all kind of hate napkins, right? I mean, some napkins are better than others. Don't get me wrong. A Babe Ruth napkin's pretty cool,
Pretty sweet.
I've actually, a buddy of mine bought like a Babe Ruth napkin card numbered to 50 or something like that. It was
nice.
So I'm like, oh man, you should send that in for grading.
Babe Ruth or Mickey Mantle napkin. Really? Does it really matter?
Yeah, it's probably fine. I don't care.
I like those little Cracker Jack and the Bazooka, the mini mem cards like that, though, because I saw Darren Erstad one of those last week because I had one in the Angels uniform. It was a gray napkin patch, but it had a big swath of dirt across it. I was like, that's a pretty cool patch.
I think that's cool. I think it's that's actually that could be a hustle, is just like dirtying them yourself and say like, oh, look at that.
Go rub some dirt on your cards.
Maybe we'll talk about that in the honesty week. But
hey Wes, how are you?
Hey, thanks everybody for tuning in. By the way, we're about halfway through our look what I found segment. And Pettis, I think we named the segment here because of you.
We should mention, John, that this is the most people we've ever had live at one time on our show.
We don't want to jinx ourselves. I just wanted to give a little quick. I love that though.
Thank you. That's where I wanted you to go with that.
Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate everybody. But I did want to give a little plug for if you want to support what we're doing, we would love if you could join our Patreon, which is Talking Cardboard Live. Because that was what will help to financially. We do pay for this platform, and to be able to sustain this and do this every week, we would love the support of you. But thank you so much for tuning in. What do you got, Joe?
My second card I picked up.
What did you find?
Love it. Absolutely love it. It is the 2004-2005 Upper Deck Hardcourt Materials Dwayne Wade game worn patch card.
Oh, that's cool. Is it like
So
is that like wood or what is
this
that?
is wood here. This is all wood. It's cardboard, but this is wood overlay, and then it's got a laser cut wood section here, and the uniform, the game worn patch card is in the middle of it. Absolutely fire card. I've seen these before. I've never had one.
It's cool, man.
And it's Dwayne Wade. I mean,
yeah.
I was like, that's a cool card.
Dwayne was a baller, man. He was a hell of a baller, man. Hell of a baller.
Indeed,
him and Shaq. I love the years with him and Shaq. I thought that was a fun combo.
He was just. I mean, the dude is. I don't know. Dwayne D Wade was just amazing.
Yeah, he was good. He was good.
He had a good complimentary cast, and just he made his teams better.
Yeah, he didn't need LeBron. You know, he didn't need him. But with LeBron is pretty crazy. All right, we got it here. I got one more for you. The last one I got is just a shout out. This is another thing I like a lot is pitchers that have weird pitching motions. Like this guy always looked like I was reminded by Alan Collects Cards that this guy looked like he was going to fall off the mound every time he threw a pitch. Mitch Williams. Mitch Williams.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. But guys like this one's cool because it's a refractor and it's numbered to 259 and all that stuff. So that's pretty cool. I like that. I like these fan favorites too. Mm-hmm. But guys like I do PC guys like Nomo and Dontrell Willis and like guys that just had like really crazy deliveries that were like completely unhittable for a while. Just because of their actual delivery. And those guys are kind of fun for me. So that's one thing I like to collect.
Like I don't remember who is it now that's like throwing upside down or throwing inverted pitching, like his arms throwing like sidearm, almost underhand.
Oh, that's cool. Release. He's doing like the Tekulve.
Yeah.
The Kent Tekulve
thing. Yeah. Yeah.
But Quisenberry used to do that.
Dan Quisenberry. Yeah. Well, Quisenberry was so long. It was like it looked like he was releasing the ball halfway to the plate already.
Yeah. He was a big dude. He was a tall dude.
God, dude. Enormous. But yeah, so my last card is this is going to come across as, I mean, kind of strange to some people knowing me, but football card, Troy Polamalu, wild card splat 101. Tiff got me this for Christmas, and she knows Polamalu is one of my main guys. Always has been the Steelers. These wild card cards, I don't care that they're worth 10% of the dollar for any of these things. Are amazing looking. The quality is fantastic. I love the way the image looks. It's nothing I'm ever going to sell or get rid of anyway. So, you know, it's going to stay with me up.
I'll tell you one thing about the wild card stuff is I don't see print lines on them.
Facts.
You know, it's like FU Tops, FU Panini, like get your quality control under control. Like there's no reason why people should be opening packs of stuff and having like a nice card ruined by like a print line or, you know, just bad production. Like I do think that the wild card stuff is at a higher level in terms of the production.
Quality control for sure.
There's actually I love the gold vinyls. Like the gold vinyl 101s are sick.
Oh heck yes. I
love them. I got a couple of those in my PC.
Yep.
I've got and also like some of my favorite autos that I have. I've got a Johnny Manziel 101. That's a wild card that I love. I've got a printer's plate Joe Montana 101 that's signed and it's a wild card or a leaf or something like that. Like those are great. Like, you know, the quality of it just seems a lot higher.
Yeah, at least, and that's it's crazy. You brought that up, and it's funny. I had a person at the show this past week and walk up to me, and they had pulled a Nick Kurtz triple patch City Connect card, a 3-color patch, Nick Kurtz, numbered out of 10, black, 1 out of 10. It looked like it got run over by a bus. Dude, all 4 edges were completely chipped. All 4 corners weren't just muffed, they were rounded. This card was destroyed.
I mean, he should be able to get a replacement, shouldn't he?
I don't know because it's so low numbered.
But you should be able to get some type of
I would think
equal value replacement, you would think. Like that's despicable. Like you're spending that much money on these packs and it's like, it's just stupid. Bro, the quality control of wild card. Yeah, they do. I think they do. I like I also like it's goofy. Some of the stuff they do is really goofy, but I like it. Like the Joker cards are really cool. And some of the Joker ones look great. Like some of them look a little goofy, but some of the Joker ones look like really cool. And then the Dynamite ones are really hilarious. Those. Like the pterodactyl and like they're goofy. And also I like the Halloween ones too. The Halloween and the Christmas ones, they all look great. It's like, why can't Panini and Topps do it the same way?
I really like the last year they did the ones with like the bald eagle and the American flag and stuff behind it. Like there was a scheme.
Oh, I love those. Yeah, the American
gorgeous cards.
I love those. Yeah, I can't remember what those are called, but those are great too. And then the thing that like it's like, what am I thinking about? Like there's the Christmas ones are cool. There was something I was gonna say about like, because like when Topps does like the holiday stuff, it's like kind of boring. It's like where's Santa? You know, it's like where's like the fun? You know, it's like you got these like you got this. It's just basically the same Topps design, but like a couple of pumpkins in the background. It's like that's boring. Like
they could do more with it. They've got the production ability to be able to do it. They've definitely got the
I remember what I was gonna say. The thing I was gonna say was we get that kind of creativity, and maybe some of that's AI generated, probably is, but like then you get like stuff like downtowns that have like artwork that's just terrible. Like the downtowns from football last year were just terrible. They all look goofy and like in an AI, like not creative, not fun kind of way. I mean, I'm never gonna forget the Jackson Dart downtown, how goofy that one looks like with like the Cyclops on it.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, like that's the best. That might be like the iconic quarterback from that class, and we're gonna be looking at that goofy ogre with the Cyclops eye on it. Yo, the mammoths, the mammoths are good. Like those
are the big ones, right?
Yeah. Those mammoths are cool too. Like that's how Topps and Panini should be doing those big like box toppers. They should be doing that kind of stuff. But whatever, I would do like some of those box toppers. I like it that Topps makes those box toppers. They'll have like some that are SP, and you got to be kind of like, if you don't know if it's a City Connect or not, like you'll miss out that it's an SP, and that's kind of cool. Mm-hmm. I do like some things about what the other companies do. I just think production quality wise, like Topps and Panini could do so much better.
Well, yeah, and my biggest problem with Topps and Panini is when you charge a premium for your product over what Leaf and Wildcard can charge for theirs, you owe it to the consumer to make it better.
Oh yeah.
You know, to charge a premium and then have the product come out looking like somebody stepped on it in the parking lot before they brought it in. I mean, that's just you're not doing yourselves any favors.
And also, if they could just not give all the good boxes to the breakers, that would also help too. Allegedly. I was have to throw that out there. Allegedly,
we don't know. We're not saying for certain. We're not
saying like we know. We don't know. So don't freaking sue us. You know?
We did it.
I was gonna. I know.
Jar.
We need to have a quarter jaw here. Like I told him before the stream I was gonna not swear, and I swore a swear last week, and I told him I wasn't gonna do it again this week, and I'm gonna blame us going overtime for it. Like,
you're up 2-1. You've sworn twice. I've sworn once.
I got too comfortable. I think they should make a new set dedicated to vintage looks. Yeah, I mean that's what Heritage is supposed to be, right? Or are you talking about Leaf? You talking about Leaf or something, or Wild Card? Yeah, there should be a card jar. Yeah, that's funny.
I do think that if Leaf went back to releasing, if Leaf came out with a Heritage product, a Heritage-like product that celebrated Leafs designs from the 80s and 90s, I would love that.
Do they even have the copyrights for those though? Like, I'm not sure
Leaf never sold to Panini or anything. They didn't consolidate. So
you know what they should do if they were smart. Again, Panini or Leaf, I'm available for like hire if you want me to consult with you. But if they were smart, what they would do is they would make a really, really limited edition 1990 Leaf set that's like really low print and make it like super premium and put like some really crazy cool inserts in it. Yep. Like if they did that and did that right and like they had like a super low print run 90 Leaf set, I think that would slap.
Oh, for sure.
That would slap, man.
Yep.
All right, guys, I think we gotta call it a show. It's been a show. It's been really fun, guys. Thanks for all the chats. Like this is by far the most active chat we've ever had, and I think this is like it's up there with the most concurrent people we've ever had on the stream. Really happy that you all have been here to check out this. This is like our 8th show. We're still trying to find a voice with this. We're trying to build this up. Hit us up with any comments you have. We want to take your comments into account. And again, we would really appreciate your support on our Patreon. It's the one way that you can help financially support what we're doing here, so that we can make this a part and prioritize this as a part of our weekly schedule and put a fun show together for you. We want to build this up into a big like ensemble where we're having a really fun discussion about the hobby every single week. And but this is where it starts. It starts here with John and Joe. So thanks again, everybody, for tuning in. Joe, you got any last parting words before we peace out for the night here?
Much love. Appreciate you guys stopping in, spending some time with us. Listen, appreciate the conversation, the comments. Please come check us out again next Wednesday. We'll be here 8 p.m.
See you on the flip side, everybody. See you on the flip side.
Woo! See ya.